but play sports, or if it's not a sport, maybe you join a club, one of the extracurricular clubs. But athletics here, besides the fact that our teams are good and you're learning from, very experienced coaches, I think athletics here at Wayne Hills are excellent. Something definitely to be a part of.
In terms of the school, Goldie being here, and I was only here 1 year with Goldie as a teacher. He used to come across the hall all the time to my classes. I mean, he just loved being around kids. He would come in, he'd tell a joke, he would, ask my history kids trivia questions just to get them going. And I remember a couple days where he was out or he wasn't here. I mean, everybody was crazy, like, "Where's Goldie? Where's Goldie?" I mean, he just brought so much to the, to the kids and in the class, and they loved him. Come in the hallways, you see him, everybody was high-fiving him, and here, I mean, this place was always packed with people about Goldie.
I think they're going to fare great this year. They're much improved from years past, and obviously, like you said, winning the Joe Arati Lakeland tournament was a big confidence booster for them to propel them to have a successful season.
Well, obviously winning the tournament is a big deal, but do you think it's just a one-time thing, or you think this team is the real deal?
No, I think they're the real deal. I don't think it's a one-time thing for them. I think there were a lot of good opponents in that tournament. Some opponents that they'll see throughout the year. So I don't think it's a shot in the dark. I think they're going to be solid all year.
Because he wasn't a teacher, but he was a coach, and he knew everyone, whether they were an athlete, part of a club, whatever. Goldie was everywhere all the time, and kids felt so comfortable to just come up to him and be like, "Goldman, what are we doing today?" or "What's going on?" And he'll be like, "Sit down, this." He talked to them about school, he talked to them about their grades, he talked to them about every single thing in such a, it's hard for anyone else in the school to have that kind of relationship because no one filled the shoes that he did. Someone's either a coach or an administrator or something, and Goldie was just Goldie.
Now we're standing on the pitching rubber right now. Obviously, they have a star here in Erica Wills. What can you tell me about her?
We are in the circle, Anthony. This is where it all happens for the Lady Patriots. They have a 4-year starter in Erica Wills. She's been all-county, probably a 3-year all-county player. Lefty, which for a softball pitcher brings a different little movement to the ball. She's tough. Now, she thinks she can strike me out, but I'm not so sure about that. But she's tough in the circle.
The one thing I remember, after Goldie passed and there was so much in the papers and everything, I had a buddy who didn't work here. He's like, "Hey, I was reading the paper," and he's like, "I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but it was just like an assistant coach or a secretary." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I know. On paper, that's just it. But he was part of the fabric of this school. He was part of the furniture of Wayne Hills. Everyone knew him, and as much as we remember him for, you'd ask him, "Hey, who's our 103-pound wrestler?" He'd know the kids' stats, but it was the kids coming in with, in those quiet moments where maybe something going on at home or boyfriend, girlfriend, or what am I gonna do for the junior formal? He was able to walk both those lines, and again, it's like Jen said, the position he was in, able to probably reach more kids than most of us can typically have a rapport with during our time here.
How are the sports doing here at Hills?
I'm not too sure, Jen, but why don't we take a look at our next segment called Gold Bits with Dave and Coach Goldie and see how the teams are doing this year.
Welcome back to 272 Bird Dan. This is the high school sports segment of the show. I'm your host, David Suntup, and now I am joined by Coach Goldie. So, Coach Goldie, the background is the baseball diamond. We're going to start off with baseball. You're the junior varsity baseball coach. What do you expect from the baseball team this season, and what do they have to do to get back to the state tournament like they were 2 years ago?
Well, as always, our expectations are high. We have a very good group of seniors coming back, led by Chris Lala, who's going to probably be our number one pitcher. Basically, what high school baseball is all about is you're only going to go as far as your pitchers take you. So between Chris Lala, Matt Green, Matt Taylor, Travis Delavolpe. We think we're pretty strong on the hill this year. And again, we're going to go as far as those guys take us. The first three that I mentioned are seniors. Travis is a junior who played the outfield last year, had a few innings with the varsity, had a lot of productive innings on the JV team, and had a great summer for us. So we think that can carry over into the baseball season this year. And right now, expectations are high.
And he did so much. Being in this position alone now in athletics, every day someone comes in. We're talking about budget. We're talking about managers for the basketball team. I know he's a basketball coach, but Grimes was like, yeah, Goldie used to do that for me.
He recruited him out of my class, my financial.
Yeah, he did. He would come around and they'd be like, yeah, I don't have any managers, and Goldie got them all. So like, what do? Ask my seniors? Like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I go, I can't do that. I don't have that rapport. Like, get all the girls to come do this and get. He did so many things that it's hard to even put a list on it. But all those things that you had a question about, or got done and you didn't know how.
I think
done.
That's a big thing. We used to say, when Mr. Smith was here, Mr. Olson, or Mr. Ascles, we said, God forbid Goldie's out for a few days, because this whole thing's going to come to a screeching halt.
And these boys, they have great character, a lot of passion. What do you expect from them, and what kind of attitude do you expect from them coming out of the locker room?
The thing we're going to look for in the second half is to make sure our kids don't quit, to keep playing hard. That's kind of what Wayne Hills prides ourselves on, is being tough, and we're certainly not going to give up. Perhaps doesn't look like we're going to win the game, but we're going to come out and fight to the end.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Guys, back to you.
And I know Coach Demikoff has said, the amount of time you've had to spend on things that you didn't even know were getting taken care of.
I didn't know it was a part of the football program, because he was just doing it. There was no. I still come down here and say, I don't know how to do this because this was Goldie, and
the list is long.
And it's long. You didn't realize, or certainly I didn't realize, how much he did just for football, and that's one sport. Right. I mean, I don't know where he found the time, because it's killing me right now.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. I think I have a notepad alone of all the things that I've been jotting down this year that no other athletic director in the years that he was there ever did.
Right.
And then I'm like, Lisa, we got to keep this notepad. We got to keep this notepad, because this is everything Goldie did that coaches are coming in saying, oh yeah, it was already done. Like ordering scorebooks. Not one of our coaches orders scorebooks on their budget, because Goldie just added them in. And I'm like, guys, I caught it. I was like, do you need scorebooks? They're like, oh yeah, they just came. I was like, no, they don't just come.
Well, and then, at the end of the year, they have the boys all county, the girls all county dinner at the Tide, different nights. You go there, and I'm like, hey, there's Goldie, and I go to talk to him, and he's getting intercepted by ADs and coaches from every other school in the county. He's like a legend.
He was part of the Passaic County Executive Board.
Yeah.
So I have a meeting,
it's all ADs
next week.
and
It's all ADs and Golding. He was a fixture in Passaic County, and he went there and he knew everything. He was their secretary. Talk about a wealth of knowledge. Like, he would go there, and so every AD I see, like, we're coming up to one of those meetings, and there's almost at the beginning an informal moment of silence, because at some point we all get there together and go, big man's not here.
Who are some of the role players for this team, for this softball team for Wayne Hills?
Well, when you talk about role players, you talk about a kid maybe like Emma Nochese, senior pitcher. She's going to be counted on giving them major innings in the circle this year. Keep some of the other teams off balance a little bit, and hope to pull through with some wins. You could talk about a girl like Carly Sugin, not necessarily as a role player. She's kind of the anchor of their outfield. She's, a 4-year player, but she's like rock solid in the outfield. She's in center field, great range and a great arm.
For me, I think we kind of touched on it. All the different areas that he was a part of. I mean, he had his hand in all the programs because of the seat that he had here. He coached. He was the golf coach. He was an assistant football coach. He was in basketball. He was in baseball.
Girls softball.
Girls softball. He was in everything. But most of all, I mean, he was emblematic of Wayne Hills, I think. I mean, when you thought of Wayne Hills athletics, or you just thought of this place in general, that guy that seat, that person, that's who you thought of. I mean, so many people came in here to see him. College coaches come in, they still ask about him. A lot of guys, haven't heard about it yet. He is Wayne Hills. I mean, that's really, he bled Wayne Hills maroon,
Do you think, where do you see this team going this season? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? How do you if they do, how far are they going to get? What are your expectations?
Yeah, I think they got a little taste of it last year. They weren't expected to do much last year, and they kind of snuck into the playoffs last year. So I do think anything less than a playoff berth this year would be a disappointment, and I definitely think they're well on their way to making the playoffs this year. They're off to a solid start. So yeah, I definitely think they'll make the playoffs, and we're looking for them to do big things in the county tournament as well.
And every team needs a leader. So for this hockey team, who you think has been the orchestrator on and off the ice to lead their team?
I think you got to look at a guy like Peter Beckermer, AJ Ricciardi. Peter, I believe, was just named captain of the team, so obviously he has the respect of his teammates and the coaching staff to have been given such a prestigious honor. So I think when they look for leadership, they're probably looking to him. And we talked about the seniors before, so I think any senior really doesn't need a title to be a leader. I would say any of the seniors, you could pick one, on the defensive side, Eddie probably, steady Eddie back there on the blue line.
The reach of him, probably, sadly, the best explanation was, when he did pass and they had the service was, let's say, at noon. I'm like, I'm gonna get out of here at like at 11 and get out of here early. I was about 2 miles away, and I was already stuck in traffic. I couldn't get. And we were joking. We're like, this is for me. There's like three aisles are full. It was standing. People from, kids, athletes, former athletes, the people at Game Day Sports where we get all our apparel. He closed his shop for 3 hours, got his T-shirts for the basketball game, closed his shop for 3 hours. He's like, we had to come. We had to come. It's one of those things where, I think I don't want to say we took it for granted, but all of us. I'll see Jen tomorrow. I'll see Wayne tomorrow. Then the one day, when it's not there, it's like, wow. You realize just what an impact it really was.
Welcome back to the Rain Delay. I'm Doug Schreibel, once again joined here with Coach Goldstein, and we're going to be discussing the Wayne Hills lacrosse team. Coach, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So this year, the Patriots are led by their senior goalie, Max Fields. They're very excited about him. This is going to be his second year starting. Can you tell us a little about him?
Yeah, Coach Jacobson actually thinks he's one of the he thinks he's the best goalie in Passaic County, which is saying a lot. And again, that year under his belt from last year, very agile, very flexible, very good with the stick. So he should be without a doubt a big influence on the season that the Patriots have.
We were talking about his funeral and the day, that oddly enough we had midterms and it was a half day, and because if we didn't have that half day, I think Wayne Hills High School would have literally shut down for the amount of people that went. We could have had it in the auditorium because it was like a school assembly. And like you said, the businesses around town, everyone that knew him,
alumni, people from way back were coming back for that. It was an awesome scene. It really was.
Welcome back to 272 Berdan. I'm Justin Tuminello, joined once again by Coach Goldstein on Gold Bits. Today on Gold Bits, we'll be discussing girls and boys soccer. So Gold, how's the boys team looking this year?
Right now, looking very good. I believe they're sitting right now at 9-2. They're in the Passaic County semifinals. Big rematch with Wayne Valley today. We beat them the first time we played them. They're a very good team. We'd like to keep things rolling.
And the girls?
Girls, as we sit here right now, only have one loss. They, like the boys, are also in the Passaic County semifinals, and they're doing very well.
What players should we look out for on both teams?
Well, the girls, everybody keeps talking about, I guess they have 4 girls committed to Division I programs. That's Christy Cherub, Sierra Colpon, Andy Lakin, and most recently Nicolette Dries. But it's not just the 4 of them. You've got girls like Kelly Burian and Allie Brunetti and Jackie Martinez. They from top to bottom, I don't think there's a weakness on their team.
You know, he'd sit in the desk, and we would all, he was the son, and we all just came and went, and he was the you want to know like important things or just got, hey Gold, I heard so and so, we got a new superintendent. He'd know. I mean, he was the center of it all. He loved it.
Welcome back to the Patriots preview. I'm joined here by Coach Goldstein. So Coach Goldstein, what do you think, coming off like the tough year last year with the tough losses, what do you think what are your personal expectations for this team this year?
Well, it's funny you say tough year. Most teams in the state would kill to go 10-2, but as you know, at Wayne Hills, 10-2 is really not what we strive for. We strive for 12-0, and expectations every year are to, go 12-0, at least make the state championship and compete for a state title. That's how we roll here, and that's what we expect out of our guys.
He was the social director. I mean, even all those coaches meetings that we went to, he got everyone to go. I'm not even over dramatizing when I say he is a true and true Patriot and the heart and soul of Wayne Hills, not just athletics, but he just encompassed everything that was Wayne Hills, is Wayne Hills. I mean, we just had freshman orientation, and we still use his clip because he actually said it the best of what Wayne Hills was. He was just natural and welcoming and just loved every minute of what he did.
Welcome back to the rain delay. I'm Justin Abdisian, and we're going to continue our talk about the baseball team. Coach Gold, we left off with the outfield. We said probably Micah Bate will play center field. Who else might give him a run for that position?
Looks like Mark Mbimbo is in the mix. Michael Garino is in the mix. Mike's a senior. Mbimbo's a junior. You got Steve Adesso's probably going to be in right field on days he's not pitching. So those would probably be the guys in the mix in the outfield.
I'll say this: he had an agenda when you came through the door. Okay, I mean, there was no doubt. Depending who it was, he was either going to give you a hard time and bust your chops, or he was going to, be serious with you. But there was always an agenda when they came in. Here's people coming in here. Some of them would come out of here like mad because that's how he wanted you to be. And then there was others that came in here that were just, it was laughter, it was this and that. It was.
And if you had screwed up or did something stupid,
he let you hear it.
Oh, it was almost like you walk in like, get it over with, let's go, so we can move on to what I'm really here for, because you knew you were going to hear about it,
Welcome back. I'm Alex Bush. I'm going to be finishing off the show today by talking about the females of the Wayne Hills track team. And I'm here with Coach John Goldstein. How are you today?
Good, Alex. Good to be here.
The girls of the track team are coached very well by Robert Bell and Christopher Monaco. How do you feel about their coaching presence on this squad?
Well, certainly those two guys that you mentioned are in the building here at Wayne Hills. They have another important coach, Mr. Rayberger, who actually serves as kind of like their head coach for the girls. But I think they do, the three of them, plus they have a big staff. The three of them do a very good job with the girls every year for like the past 3-4 years. Our girls have been super competitive in the county, and this year should certainly be no different.
I don't think a lot of people know this, but he used to have a show on the radio called Gossip with Goldie.
On GHT?
On GHT, because, it wasn't just Wayne Hills, it was the whole area. He knew if something was going on at West Milford or Lakeland, he knew that. It didn't take long before he knew it, and it didn't take long for him to pass it on along to others,
right.
I'm cleaning out everything. This binder, he has this for football, he has this for basketball. It's handwritten stats and notes and on sports that he didn't even coach. He did hand brackets of all the state tournaments before they came out. I would come in and say, Goldie, my state. He goes, yeah, I know, you're playing Westmore Central. I go, it didn't even come out yet. He goes, no, I calculated it already. He did it for every sport, knew every kid, knew their stats.
He had stuff written on napkins, too.
Oh, absolutely. But then he would put it all together. Whatever he coached. When he went to softball, Hertz was like, I don't even need the computer system, because it was, he loved it. He knew everything there was to know about every single person here.
Now you just got to sprinkle in, a few seniors, guys like Brian Dowling, Anthony Scadillo, Kyle Zarnecki. And then if, some of our younger arms, some of the sophomore kids like maybe an Eric Moskler or Christian Rodriguez or a Mark Mbimbo could pitch in. we're set up to have a pretty good pitching staff. Well, it's unclear right now, to be quite honest with you. If you put a gun to my head, which I hope you would never do, I would say Troy will probably be the second baseman and Chris will be the shortstop. Now, they both pitch. So when Chris pitches, Troy's at short. When Troy pitches, Chris is at short. Okay, that opens up a spot at second base. And right now, the early clubhouse leader for that spot is yours truly, Johnny V. Good. Johnny Vitas looks like he has won the second base job when one of those guys pitch, and they pitch 2 out of every 3 games. So, Johnny V's looking like he's going to be in the lineup.
Coach Olson used to jokingly complain. He's like, Goldie, we start practice at 3 o'clock because from walking out of the back of the school, he'd talk to the fit hockey coaches. He'd talk to Nelson soccer, me and Brad Smith, the sub-varsity soccer, girls soccer, JV. And, but half of it was BS and joking, but half of it, hey, I heard so-and-so's hurt. Wow, big game next week. I mean, he really, and that
was genuine. He cared.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't
and the kids really appreciate that he really, he knew what was going on. Like you said, no matter what the sport, he'd be texting you how to go. And not even like a big county championship, but a random meet or game. It's one of those things. And I know Mr. Hoog Straight and I have lunch duty together. We're always talking trivia, this, that. And I'm like, who would? I'm like, who know?
Yep.
Freaking Goldie. We wouldn't have to look it up or do research because Goldie would have been, just go downstairs. He'll know. He'll remember it. Whether it's trivia or something we really need. It all kind of flowed through there for sure.
He got a chance to coach a lot of different young students because of the different sports that he was involved with. What do you think in your 20 years he gave to Wayne Hills more than anything, and what do you think he meant to the kids that he influenced?
I think the thing that he gave to Wayne Hills was himself. He was here night and day. I mean, Wayne Hills was his life. He wasn't married, didn't have his own children to worry about, and so these kids all became kind of his surrogate kids. And he cared about every one of them, athlete, non-athlete, male, female, didn't make any difference. And I think that's his biggest gift to the school, just himself.
It's one of those things. Hey, I mean, we're all sad every day, but I think the nice thing is there's so many good stories, and he would like nothing more. I mean, the Bustin' Chops was the name of his game, and I'm sure he wouldn't want us wallowing in our pity. He'd appreciate the jokes just as much, for sure.
Jimmy, I'm speechless. This is, our kids. It's all about our kids, man. They persevered. It's all about our kids. They showed up to play, and everybody rooting against them. And I don't know. Hopefully, they made the town proud.
Defensively, I've never seen anything better.
Listen, there isn't a better defensive coach in the country than Wayne Demikoff, and what he did. Against probably one of the best players in the state, if not the best player in the state. All credit goes to him and the 11 guys out there who went crazy. A lot of kids had to step up. A lot of kids didn't play this year, and they were thrown into this game, into the spotlight. They stepped up, and they just played great.
Lots changed this year. New coach always brings a new attitude. Coach Grimes is a very positive coach. He's very energetic. And I think our kids are absolutely feeding off of that. Another major change is young infusion of talent. Joey Kenny moved up from the freshman team. He's a sophomore starting now. Dorian Hodge, who saw very, very, very limited minutes as a freshman on the varsity level. He's now a full-time varsity guy as a sophomore starting. And, every year kids grow up. They get that 1 year older and 1 year better. So, they've had like a whole off season to work on their game. And kids usually come, better than they were the previous year. And with Coach Grimes instilling, his new attitude, I think things are looking good for the Patriots.